We had just left New York City about 2 hours ago on a Friday afternoon, and we had roughly another hour of highway left before getting back home. My wife, Lena, and I had just dropped off our only child, Ava, at her college dorm to begin her freshman year. I was behind the wheel of our old reliable Dodge Caravan, which we used instead of Lena's sleek silver Audi convertible. It had more space to haul all of Ava's stuff. Hard to believe how fast time flies, Lena said, staring out the passenger window. She wasn't wrong. It really did feel like yesterday when Ava was walking across the stage at her high school graduation, and now here she was, starting college. That graduation had brought back a lot of memories. I remember when Lena told me she was pregnant. I was still studying mechanical engineering back then. Our folks were surprisingly supportive. They saw how strong our bond was. When Ava came into the world, Lena stayed with her parents until I wrapped up college. Then we tied the knot and started our life together. Lena chose to be a stay-at-home mom, and I went full force into my field. Over the last 10 years, I'd worked my way from junior tech to running my own HVAC company. We had good contracts, solid clients, and for the most part, a comfortable life. It's going to feel real quiet without her around, I said, a little lump catching in my throat. She's always been your little girl, Lena replied. Then her tone changed. But have you noticed how she's been treating me lately? She's sweet to you, sure, but cold as ice with me. When you're not home, she barely talks to me, locks herself in her room, and acts like I don't exist. Come on, Lena, I said, trying to brush it off. She's a teenager. She's stressed about school, and senior year was rough. Getting into Columbia wasn't easy. That's not it, Rob, she said. 2 months ago, she pulled a knife on me. I've never been so scared in my life. She looked at me like she hated my guts. You're imagining it, I snapped without thinking, not wanting to believe something that serious could happen. Lena didn't argue. She went quiet. She knew I had a short fuse when I was upset, and she wasn't about to make things worse while we were stuck in the car. She just pulled out her phone and sent a text. A moment later, it buzzed. That from Ava? I asked. No, Lena said. It's from my friend Carla. She's venting again. Her husband, Deputy David, is always working nights and putting the job first. She married a sheriff. What did she expect? Lena said, shaking her head. When we pulled into our driveway, I saw a sheriff's patrol car parked right in front of the garage. I parked behind it, confused. David stepped out of the car with some young guy beside him, his assistant, maybe. What caught my eye was how Lena instantly walked over to stand behind that assistant, like she was hiding from me. What's going on? I asked, getting out of the van. David walked over, looking like he hated what he was about to say. Rob, this is the worst part of my job. He handed me a thick manila envelope. You've been served. I froze. You're kidding, right? I took the envelope from him, my hands trembling. I turned to Lena. Why? What did I do? It's best you leave for now, David said calmly. Get yourself a lawyer. The papers include a restraining order. You can't come within 500 feet of Lena. David, I snapped. Just 5 days ago you and Carla were at our cookout, our daughter's going-away party. You smiled, you laughed, you knew what was going on, and you still came like nothing was wrong. Rob, please try to understand, he said. Understand what? That you're a traitor. I yelled. Then I turned to Lena. And you should have just told me. If you didn't love me anymore, we could have split like adults. Instead, you sneak around and ambush me. I'm asking you nicely, Rob, David said, his hand inching toward his belt. Leave now. I stormed back to the van, threw the envelope into the passenger seat, then turned around and marched back. I need to get my things. I hope you won't act like a jerk about that. I pulled out my house key and walked to the front door, but David stopped me. That key won't work anymore. He tossed a new set to his assistant, who unlocked the door and followed me as I packed up 2 suitcases of clothes and personal stuff. I'll have extra patrols swing by, David said to Lena. He's angry, and I wouldn't put anything past him. Stay put and call a friend to stay with you for a while. Yeah, a friend, I muttered under my breath. After packing, I walked out with the bags and tossed them into the van. I finally opened the envelope and read the divorce papers. Half my business? The house? Her car? Alimony. I shouted. You're bleeding me dry. David looked at me square. You need to leave, or I'll arrest you. Fine, I growled. I'll sign the damn thing. I scrawled my name on the dotted lines. Here. Mary, witness it. David, giving my copy. They both looked surprised I signed so quickly. Lena looked almost smug. As I got into the van, I turned back one last time. Who is he? I demanded. How long's this been going on? David stepped between us. Go inside, Lena. He turned back to me. Think of Ava, Rob. Don't do something you'll regret. I regret marrying her, I muttered. She did this because I would have never agreed to some open marriage like you did. What are you talking about? David snapped. Don't act shocked. Everyone knows, I said. You're out working nights while your brother Mark plays house with your wife. You trying to turn me against my own brother? David's face twisted in anger. Face the facts. She's cheating on you, and you know it deep down. You're a sheriff. You know a liar when you see one. I slammed the gear into reverse and peeled off down the street. Back inside, Lena poured herself a glass of wine and smirked as she looked over at the painting Rob left behind. One she always admired, probably worth a fortune. His loss, she muttered. She called Kevin. No answer. She cursed and redialed. Still nothing. Their first meeting played in her mind again. A year ago, he worked in a shoe store. He was younger, athletic, full of energy. They'd exchanged numbers, and the next day he was in her bed on his lunch break. Rob had never made her feel the way Kevin did. She had given Kevin everything, her time, money, keys to her place, even let him drive her Audi. Now, finally free, she was ready for their new life together. But where was he? Frustrated, she showered and dressed in something light, memories of their nights together playing on repeat in her head. She called again. Nothing. The next day, Saturday, still no word. By Sunday morning, she could not take it anymore. She drove straight to Kevin's apartment. It was empty, completely cleared out. Closet bare. Bathroom stripped. She collapsed on the bed in tears. He was gone. Vanished. She staggered back to her car and drove to his workplace. A coworker told her he had left Friday morning and never came back. Sent his resignation by email. At a gas station on the way home, both her credit and debit cards were declined. She had nothing but her last few dollars and a bottle of wine waiting at home. And that's exactly where she drowned. Monday morning, Lena made her way to the bank. She hoped to get some clarity, maybe even a bit of hope. Instead, the branch manager greeted her with a serious look. Mrs. Thompson, there's less than $5 left in your joint account, he said flatly. Lena blinked. That can't be right. My husband closed our joint credit card on Friday, sure, but the mortgage and car were covered. I know they were. The manager adjusted his glasses. According to our records, there is still an active loan on your car, and a second mortgage was taken out on the home recently. It appears it was used to fund your daughter's college tuition. But why is there no money in the account? Lena asked, her voice rising. Well, there haven't been any deposits for the past 3 months. Between mortgage payments and credit expenses, it's been drained. What about deposits from his business? She asked desperately. My husband owns a heating and cooling company. He should be transferring money regularly. I'm sorry, Mrs. Thompson, but I'm not allowed to disclose any information about your husband's accounts or business activities. Lena's mouth went dry. So, if I don't pay the next mortgage bill, I could lose the house? And the car? That's correct, the manager said with a sympathetic nod. I suggest you speak with your attorney. Shaken, Lena left the bank and made a beeline to the safety deposit box she used to share with Rob. All she found inside was a velvet pouch with her jewelry. She stuffed it in her handbag and walked back to her car. Still trying to make sense of things, she tried calling Rob's cell. Disconnected. She dialed his work number. It rang and rang with no answer. Panicked, she called Ava. What do you want? Which? Ava answered sharply. Lena was stunned. Is that any way to talk to your mother? I don't have a mother. You threw Dad away like trash, and now you want to talk to me? I'm done. Do not call me again. I'm changing my number. Click. Lena sat in her car, gripping the steering wheel as the reality sank in. Kevin had vanished. Her plan, whatever it had been, was crumbling. Later that day, she sat in her lawyer's office, her voice hoarse. You said I'd be entitled to millions, she said, trying to hold herself together. The attorney didn't meet her eyes. 2 weeks ago, everything looked promising. But your husband filed for bankruptcy last Thursday, just before you had him served. His company is being dissolved. The accounts are frozen. What about the house? The car? He used the house as collateral for a new loan, and it looks like you co-signed for the car loan, whether you realized it or not. Lena's stomach dropped. That's not possible. Mrs. Thompson, do you believe your husband knew he was about to be served with divorce papers? She thought for a moment. No, I don't think he saw it coming. The lawyer nodded slowly. Then let me be clear. You won't get a penny from his company. The bank account is empty. And unless you make payments soon, you'll lose both your car and your home. Can't we force him to pay the mortgage? She asked in a low voice. Not while he's unemployed. Once he gets another job, we can push for spousal support. What about the investment bonds you mentioned? They're gone. I checked the safe deposit box. We'll investigate. But these services will increase your legal fees. Do you have a way to cover the cost? Lena paused, then said, I have a painting. A valuable one. Sell it. Use the money to retain us. And I suggest you begin looking for a new place to live, just in case. Later that evening, Lena sat in front of the painting. Panyal's the train station. It had always meant something to her. I wanted to keep you, she whispered. But because of Rob, I have to let you go. She called her sister next. Hey, sis. I need a favor. Of course, anything. Rob and we're divorcing. Is this a joke? No. It's complicated. I need a place to stay, just for a little while. Could I use your guest room? Her sister hesitated. I'll have to talk to Mark, but I don't think he'd mind. Our daughter would love having you stay. Are you okay? What about Ava? She's siding with her dad. I'm the villain, of course. Is there any chance the two of you can fix things? Maybe counseling. I doubt it. All right. Let me know when you're coming. The next morning, Lena visited a jeweler. Her hope was quickly crushed. Every piece of jewelry was cheap, gold-plated copper. Worthless, the man told her. Maybe $100 total. She cursed under her breath. Rob had given her fakes. She drove straight to an art gallery, hoping the painting would save her. The appraiser took a long look, examined it under a light, then chuckled. Is something wrong? Lena asked, alarmed. Come see, the appraiser said, bringing up an image online. He pointed to a specific area in the original artwork, an emotional scene on a train platform. A man and child crying as a woman leaves. Now look at yours, he said. Lena looked closely. In her version, the man and child weren't crying, they were laughing and pointing at the woman. The entire emotion of the painting was flipped. It's a fake, the appraiser said gently. Sorry. I'll give you $200. It might make for a good conversation piece. Crushed, Lena accepted. As she stepped outside, her phone rang. It was her sister. Hey, sis. Don't you sis me, you lying tramp. Her sister's voice exploded from the phone. What? Mark got an email from some stranger. It had a link to a website. With videos of you. With some guy. Going back months. You did it in your own bed. In cheap hotels. Disgusting. Don't ever come near us. Wait, please. Go to your lover. You're not welcome here. The line went dead. Lena stood on the sidewalk, her ears ringing, the phone trembling in her hand. They know, she whispered. Everyone knows. Panic surged through her veins. Everything she built, gone. I approached Mary as she wiped sweat from her brow, the scent of her perfume still lingering in the air. Can we talk? I asked calmly. I'm tired from cleaning, and I'm a little gross right now, she replied. Besides, you need to take Jennifer her flash drive. She was right, and I let it go for the moment. At work, I spent the better part of the day researching the best surveillance tools I could get my hands on. I wasn't going to let things slip through my fingers again. I bought hidden cameras, long-range listening devices, and cell phone tracking software from a local electronics shop. From that day forward, I made one promise to myself. I would never trust Mary again. As I had promised, I kept Jennifer in the loop. Over the next few months, I built a complete picture of what Mary had been doing behind my back. Her lover's name was Kevin Brown. I found out he visited our home almost daily, early mornings when I worked the late shift, or around lunch on weekends when Mary claimed to be shopping. Sometimes, she went in his place if he was off work. She even had a spare key. I overheard plenty through recordings and intercepted phone calls. Mary and her best friend Susan talked freely, even laughing about Susan's own affair with her brother-in-law, of all people. One Saturday, I went through Mary's handbag and found Kevin's spare key. I made a copy. A few days later, I let myself into his apartment. It was a rundown building in a shady part of town. No cameras, no secure entry. Inside, I installed micro cameras powered by long-life batteries and took note of the many expensive items Mary had bought him. I wasn't just planning to get out of the marriage anymore. I wanted to make sure she and Kevin faced real consequences. I had all of Mary's jewelry replicated by a local jeweler, each piece nothing more than gold-plated copper. I also commissioned a friend of mine, a skilled artist, to paint a fake version of Panyal's The Train Station. It was near perfect. Then, I reached out to Brian, one of my oldest friends, who now worked as a corporate attorney. I explained everything. We met that week, and Brian introduced me to his cousin, Karen, a forensic auditor with years of experience. I was upfront with them. I wanted to dissolve my business and arrange for Jennifer to eventually purchase it back. Karen and I met regularly over the following weeks. She was smart, kind, and a widow. Her husband had died in a car crash, and she had a young son. What started as business turned into friendship. One night, I invited her to dinner and a movie. Jennifer was staying at a friend's house, and I told Mary the first was working late. This is my first date since my husband passed, Karen said softly. I get it, I replied. But I hope you had a nice time. I did, she said. Maybe we can do this again, but let's take it slow. You're still married, after all. She gave me a kiss on the cheek before going inside. Meanwhile, I convinced Mary to trade in her Lexus. She was attached to it, but when I told her a BMW convertible would make her look younger, she jumped at the idea. I sold the Lexus for cash and financed the BMW in her name. She signed everything, thinking it was just ownership paperwork, not realizing the documents included loan terms that would come back to haunt her. One day, after a heated encounter, I noticed Kevin strolling out of our bedroom naked while Mary was in the bathroom, right into Jennifer's room. That was the last straw. I told Jennifer what I saw. She was furious and insisted we set up a camera in her room. The footage we captured? Kevin stealing her underwear. Later that day, Jennifer approached Mary with a knife while she sat on the couch. If I hadn't intervened, she might have done something she'd regret. That night, she told me coldly, I'm a minor. They wouldn't even lock me up. I didn't know what shocked me more, what she'd done or how calmly she said it. Kevin, meanwhile, was pressuring Mary to file for divorce and take everything I owned. What he didn't know was that I was always one step ahead. I'd already secured Jennifer's college tuition with a second mortgage and filed for bankruptcy the day before we left for New York. While Mary and Susan plotted, David, the sheriff, was enjoying burgers at my backyard grill, playing his part perfectly. On the Friday morning of our return from New York, I grabbed Mary's phone while she was in the bathroom and sent a message to Kevin. Be ready by 8. I want you to take me from behind one last time before I say goodbye. I'll tell them I've got errands. Don't text me back. Leaving the phone here just in case. Catch you later, future hubby. Then I deleted the message and slipped the phone back into her purse. Kevin had no clue what was coming. When he entered his apartment that evening, 3 men were waiting. They beat him within an inch of his life, forced him to resign from his job via email, and pack up his place. After drugging him, they staged his disappearance. He was gone. No one would ever find him. I never told Jennifer or Karen what happened to Kevin. That truth would go to my grave. That night, while watching the news from a cheap motel room, I laughed to myself. Everything was unfolding exactly as planned. The man from Kevin's apartment stopped by to return the surveillance equipment and collect payment. No words were exchanged. No one spoke of where Kevin ended up. Saturday morning, I tossed my old phone, bought a new one, and sent Jennifer my new number. Then I spent the rest of the day with Karen and her son, editing the footage, removing Kevin's face, just in case he ever resurfaced. By Monday, our final phase was set. A couple from Seattle, Karen's relatives, would buy the company. Staff wouldn't be affected. Jennifer was kept informed throughout. That morning, she called laughing, Dad, Mom's losing her mind looking for you. I grinned. Let her look. Later that day, I uploaded the video footage, blurred but damning, to a seedy adult site under a fake name. I sent the link to everyone in Mary's life. Family, friends, even her brother-in-law. Over the next 3 months, I lived at Karen's house, sleeping in the guest room, keeping things strictly respectful. Karen insisted nothing would happen until the divorce was finalized, and I honored that. If anyone asked, I was broke, jobless, and crashing with a friend. The day of the final court hearing, Mary didn't show. With no assets to divide, no job for me to pay support, and the house and car repossessed, the judge granted the divorce without a fight. Even Mary's attorney didn't object. As I walked down the courthouse hallway, her lawyer stopped me. You're quite the strategist, Mr. Thompson. Am I? I said, raising an eyebrow. Then I kept walking. Back in the present, I stood beside my daughter at her wedding. Dad, come on, she said, tugging my sleeve. Everyone's watching. It's time for our dance. Sorry, sweetheart, I said, smiling. I guess I drifted off for a second. I took Jennifer's hand and gave her a little spin before we eased into the father-daughter dance. It was one of those moments you store deep down, the kind that sticks with you forever. As the music wrapped up, She smiled and said, "Now I've got to dance with Mom. And I promised my little brother he's next." "All right, sweetheart," I said with a grin, patting her hand. After that, I walked over to Karen and asked her to dance. She lit up and nodded, and we swayed together to the next slow tune, quiet and content. Later on, I slipped over to the bar, ordered a whiskey, and sat down for a breather. While I stared into the glass, my mind wandered back to a call I got just a few days ago. I'd taken it in my bedroom at home. "Good morning, Mr. Thompson. My name is Dr. James Carter. I'm a psychologist down here in Dallas, Texas. I'm calling about your former wife." I sat up straighter, confused. "My wife? Karen's here with me. What are you talking about?" "I mean Mary Thompson," the man clarified. Just hearing her name hit me like a punch to the gut. I hadn't heard it in 5 years. I sat down hard on the edge of the bed. "Go ahead, document." "She's under my care right now. Very ill. We're in the final stages." "What happened to her?" I asked. "She asked me to contact you. She's made peace with some things and wanted you to know her story. She's told me everything, from her upbringing to how she met you, the marriage, the affair with Kevin, and how much she regrets it all. She believes you knew and set everything up, but she doesn't blame you anymore. She says she lost the only real family she had." I stayed silent, listening. "After the divorce," he continued, "she took what little she had, $200, and just disappeared. Ended up working at a roadside bar off Interstate 20. The owner gave her a room in exchange for, well, favors. After about a year, she got pregnant and went through a risky abortion without medical care. That's when things got worse." He paused, like he didn't want to say the rest. "She was forced into prostitution. She got sick, HIV, among other things. And now, she's dying. She doesn't have much time left. Her last wish is to see you." I leaned back in my chair, whiskey untouched. "Thank you for telling me, doctor. My daughter's getting married today. I'll think about it and call you next week." "I understand," he said. "Here's my direct number. Just don't wait too long." The wedding reception buzzed around me. Karen came up, wrapped her arms around me, and gave me a warm kiss. "Hey," she said, "easy on the whiskey, cowboy. You're driving us home." I smiled and set the glass aside. "You and our boy mean everything to me. I'd never risk that." She grinned, tugged at my hand. "Come on, let's dance. I want to feel you close." A few days later, back in my office, I picked up the phone and called Dr. Carter. "Doc, I won't be able to make it down. Work's got me pinned." "I understand," he said. "Would you at least consider speaking with her over the phone?" "All right," I said. "Patch me through." After a moment, I heard the nurse call her name, followed by the sound of the phone being placed at her ear. "Robert." Her voice was faint, cracked with emotion. "Yeah, it's me, Mary." "Oh, Robert," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry. For everything I did to you and to our family. I've paid the price. I've lost everything." "I've let it go, Mary," I said quietly. "Life moved on. And honestly, thank you. After everything, I met someone incredible. We got married, and we've got a boy now. Jennifer adores her and calls her mom. They get along better than I ever imagined." I paused, letting that sink in. "Jennifer got married last Saturday. You'd have been proud. Her mother made sure every little thing was perfect. We're hoping for grandkids soon." Mary broke down on the other end, her breathing labored. Suddenly, a new voice came on the line. "Mr. Thompson, this is Nurse Emily. I'm sorry, but I have to end the call now." The line went dead. I sat there for a moment, staring at the family photo on my desk. Karen, Jennifer, our son, and me. All smiling. All happy. He who laughs last, laughs best. I whispered to myself. And you know what? I meant it.